and this is Flexible Perspective. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about this figure and about, I guess, the persona of the Mammy, as well as some of the actresses that played those roles. Okay, so recently, of course, we have learned that Aunt Jemima is going to go away, and there was some discussion about the racist stereotypes in Gone with the Wind, and happily, they decided to delay a screening of it, and they're going to have someone with Gone with the Wind. They're going to have someone do an introduction that puts into context some of the racist stereotypes in the movie. And I'm really excited about that because I was saddened to think that it might just end up on the trash heap of history. I think it's really important for us to watch and for our children to watch and talk about those stereotypes and put our own, not our own spin, and give the truth, give our perspective to our children. And you know what? By our children, I mean all children, all American children. It's important that we start to look at the past and give it a better narrative, a truer narrative. For example, it's often said that in movies, there's the trope of the happy slave, so happy with his lot in life. Well, and I'm not sure, but here's how I perceive that. I think it's racist and horrible to pretend that anyone would be pleased with being a slave, being owned by another human being. I mean, we know that's ridiculous. But here's another side to that. All humans, part of our humanity is our need for hope. Part of our humanity is our natural seeking of connection and love and community and joy. No matter what situation you're in, I'm sure the people that live in the gulag or in Siberia or who are imprisoned for life, even if their lives are misery for the most part, they will have some moments of joy. They will have some moments where they have to rise above their situation. And that's how it was with the slaves. Yes, they had miserable lives. They were tortured. They were killed. They were owned. Women would give birth to babies that they knew could be sold away from them at any minute. That's pure misery. There's no getting around that. But the songs that they sang, the faith that they had, the things that got them through gave them moments of happiness because they are human. No one can take away their humanity. And so to pervert that by pretending they were happy with their lot is a travesty. But we can be honest and have the real conversation about how these people, in the midst of their misery, had moments of joy and happiness. And I, for one, think that is remarkable and should be talked about. The other thing is the role of Mammy. So I looked it up, and it said, for the definition for Mammy, it says the offensive definition is a black woman who was a black woman who was nursemaid to white children. Okay, so that's a sanitized version. It's a slave who was a nursemaid to the children of her owner. And so, again, we have movies that depict that Mammy in various ways, sometimes as foolish, overbearing, and oftentimes as happy with her lot. Well, one person who played Mammy quite a bit was Hattie McDaniel, and she was in Gone with the Wind, and she won an Academy Award for that portrayal. Well, the thing about Hattie McDaniel, I love her. She was an excellent actress. So she played the role of Mammy or a slave or servant pretty much all of her career. But she didn't do that because she set out to do that. She didn't say, oh, I think I'll go to Hollywood and be a maid or a slave. She did that because those were the roles that were offered to her. She worked hard. She, was paid less at one point She was not able to go to this premiere of Gone with the Wind because it was in a whites only venue, but she persevered, just like so many of the women and men of that period. She persevered. She made a space for herself in a field that she wanted to work in. It was an oppressive space. It was a field that did not allow her to use all of her artistic ability, but she still did the best with what she had. And again, if you ever watch her, you can see how intelligent she is and how proud she is and that she's a good actress. I love her. Um, you know what? She doesn't fit the standard of beauty for then or now, but I thought she was beautiful. You know what? She looks like me. She looks like many people that I love. And I think that we should pay more attention to her than we do the roles that she had to play. But again, we can put those roles into perspective and begin to elevate the actresses and actors in many of these roles over the roles that they had to play. Um, she famously, Hattie McDaniel, refused to apologize for playing roles that perpetuated a racist stereotype. What she said was, again, she was paving the way for those who would come after her. She worked very hard and she had no choice. She auditioned for the roles that she could get, and many of them she got. So she was a success, and I think we should respect that. Um, Butterfly McQueen, who played Prissy in Gone with the Wind, she's the one who said, I don't know nothing about birthing no babies. Okay, so again, she was an excellent actress. She was a comedic actress, and prior to her role in Gone with the Wind, she was a dancer, and she thought that she would play this role of maid and that would open the door for her to play other roles. Of course, again, it didn't work out that way, not because she just thought, won't it be fun? Wouldn't it be fun for me to just play the same role over and over again? It's because that was what was offered to her. So again, we can look back on that history and have empathy for her, and again, be impressed and admire her talent and the fact that when she did retire, that she was able to get her bachelor's degree, and she did lots of work for equal opportunity, for equal rights for Blacks. So these women were strong and successful and wonderful, and we should honor them as such. And I'm sure there are lots of other people in some of the other movies that if we examine, we will find the same thing. So to wrap it all up, because I repeat myself a lot, I know that, I'm sorry. I just think that we should look at these roles, look at our past, and be more honest about what was going on instead of just being offended that some people chose to portray lies, that they chose to make make an extreme mockery of the lives of the former slaves and just Black people in general. So I have my figurine here because, again, I love, well, I love the people who survived and thrived as best they could in the past. I'm inspired by them, and I will never look down on them. I will never be ashamed. I will always seek to understand how difficult it was and how hard they worked to overcome. And that will always give me hope, and I will always use it to give my children inspiration. And I hope you'll do the same thing. And by the way, I want to say, someone asked me, who is it that I'm speaking to in my videos? And you know what? I've never been able to decide who my audience is. It's pretty much anyone who wants to listen. So with this particular video, whether you're white or Black, here's the thing. You can admire someone who's white or Black or Asian or whatever. So I'm speaking to whomever is watching this video. I hope you will look at the men and women who played these parts and see their humanity and and not allow anyone to mock them, and not allow yourself or your children to mock them. Okay, thanks. Sorry, one more thing. I want to give sort of honor to my to my grandmothers. Both my grandmothers were domestics. Both my grandmothers were so smart, had great personalities. They were very, very different, but they were wonderful. They were domestics because that was the lot that they had. Um, my one grandmother only went to the sixth grade. And again, it wasn't because she was like, oh, I think it would be fun to, to leave school in sixth grade. There were circumstances that forced her to leave school. She lamented that her whole life. But she was a smart and intelligent woman. And while I'm talking about these other women, I want to say that both my grandmothers were my heroes. They were domestics and they were my heroes. So thanks.